Welcome to Mary Cooks. I'm Mary, and I love cooking. It's one of my favorite pastimes, hobbies. I just love it. I started cooking at the age of 9, and I got some great teachers. My mother and my aunts were excellent cooks, and I've learned most of these recipes from them. Today I would love to share a recipe with you. It's a meatless recipe. It's eggplant parmesan. Beautiful eggplants that I found in the supermarket today. Most eggplant parmesan eggplant is fried, breaded and fried. This parmesan, eggplant parmesan, will not be fried. We're going to do it in the oven. We're going to toast it in the oven before we put it into a casserole. So let's get started. You want to find a nice, firm, fresh, no bruises on it eggplant. And I've already washed these and dried them. And we're going to slice them into fairly thick slices. I'd say, about, what would you say, 1/4 inch that is? I'm going to slice those. And then we're going to layer it in a colander because we're going to try to get some of the moisture out of the eggplant. And salt will do just that. So let me show you how I do that. I layer it in a colander. Put several pieces down. Coat it with coarse salt. And let it rest. I usually try to rest it in the sink because it will drain off some moisture. So I'm going to continue cutting the eggplant and salting it. To start the filling, I make my eggplant parmesan in a casserole, similar to lasagna. So, and this needs to be done in stages. I realize this is a very time-consuming recipe, so the best time to do this is when you have time, like on a weekday, a Saturday, a Sunday. Plus, this is something you can also make in advance, and you can freeze it. You can freeze it in individual servings as well. So what we're going to do, the filling will be ricotta cheese. And this is half a container, which is 15 ounces, 16 ounces, 2 cups of ricotta basically. And you can use whole milk, or you can use skim milk ricotta or fat-free ricotta, whichever you prefer. To that, we're going to add 1½ cups of mozzarella cheese, shredded, a tablespoon of grated Parmesan cheese, 1 tablespoon of flat leaf parsley, salt to taste, I'd say about 1/4 teaspoon, and some black pepper, and about the same amount, about 1/4 teaspoon. And this will be held together with 1 egg. This is well blended, well incorporated. And I'm going to set this aside and go to the next stage. My oven is preheating to 425, and I'm going to coat a cookie sheet with some extra virgin olive oil and have that ready for the breaded eggplant. Let's coat that, coat it well. And now on to the breading. As you can see, I have laid out eggs, flour, and breadcrumbs. Let's start with the eggs. We're going to use 3 eggs. I have 2 already in the bowl. Going to add a tablespoon of crushed Parmesan, grated Parmesan cheese, some salt for taste, and some black pepper, and we're going to beat that up, mix that well. I'd say I have about 1 cup of flour and about 2 cups of seasoned breadcrumbs, and I lucked out. I found 100% whole wheat seasoned breadcrumbs. I thought that was great. Okay, let's get started. First, we dip in the, First we dip in the flour, coat it lightly, dust it off, and shake it off. We don't want too much flour on that. Then dip in the egg, and then coat generously with the bread. I have my first batch of eggplants ready to go into the oven. So we're going to just give it a light coating on top with some virgin olive oil to help the browning. But remember, this is not the same now as if you were frying this in olive oil. Eggplant drinks up oil. This is going to go into the 425-degree oven, and we're going to cook it for about 8 minutes. Turn it over, cook it another 4 or 5. You want it to be slightly brown. The first tray of eggplant has come out of the oven. You can see they're toasty, nice and cooked. They're not as tender as they would be if you were frying them, but they will tenderize more in the casserole dish. I found that 3 eggs covered 12 slices of eggplant. So that's how much you're going to get out of 3 eggs. If you want more eggplant, then you're going to need to use more eggs, more flour, and more breadcrumbs. The other tray is in the oven now. And as I said, I cooked it 8 minutes on one side, turned it over, and I did go 8 minutes on the second side. All of our eggplant has been baked and is ready now to be arranged in the casserole dish. I've lowered the temperature in the oven to 375 for baking the casserole. I've lined a cookie sheet with a piece of tin foil because we're going to put our casserole dish on top of the cookie sheet just in case it bubbles over. So let's get started layering the casserole dish. I have some homemade marinara sauce, and you can get that recipe on my blog and on my YouTube. Or if you don't want to make homemade marinara sauce, feel free to use store-bought marinara sauce. So we coat the bottom first with some sauce, very lightly coat it, just so that there's no sticking. And let's layer our eggplant. And we're going to put 4 down at the bottom and quite close together and try to get them overlapping. Let's do a layer of ricotta. This is going to make 3 layers of eggplant with 2 layers of ricotta cheese in between. The cheese will melt, the ricotta will cook, it will be scrumptious. On top of the ricotta, we're going to put another layer of marinara sauce. So let's spoon another layer of sauce on top. You have plenty of sauce. Make sure if you're making sauce or you're buying it that you have some left over to serve after you've sliced the eggplant in case anyone wants to add more sauce. Another layer of eggplant. Press it down. I'm using an 8x8 casserole dish. I would have preferred a 9x9, but I didn't have one. So if you have a 9x9, that would work out great. Another layer of ricotta. And as you can see, this is getting pretty high. So we need to make sure we put this on a cookie sheet just in case there's any spillage. Don't want that to run into your... Another layer, and you can see this is pretty high, so I really feel if we had a 9x9, this would have worked better. But bear with me, it's going to come out fine. Onto the cookie sheet. And into the oven for 35 to 45 minutes till it's really bubbly and the cheese is melted. Casserole just came out of the oven. I cooked this for 45 minutes. And I started it at 35, checked it, and gave it another 10. As you can see, it's very bubbly, very cooked, very hot, and the cheese has melted. Now let that sit for a good 30 minutes, 40 minutes before you slice into it. You know, casseroles will fall apart if you slice into it while it's too hot. So we'll come back in 40 minutes and slice it and see how it looks. And the casserole's been sitting out for about 40 minutes, and in fact you can even touch the dish, it's cooled. So now let's try and slice this and serve it. This is tough, this usually is. I'm going to cut it down here with a large knife. And I'm going to go over here, cut some more this way. The first piece is usually the hardest to get out, so if it messes up when it comes out, that'll be the cook's piece. Let's try the second piece. First piece is for the cook. Second piece, let's see if we can get that to hold up. It's so full. Oh, there we go. There we go. And there you go. Great. Came out perfect. Now for a little sauce. And some extra Parmesan cheese. And let's enjoy.